3531, motor transportation operator. What the hell is that? Did your recruiter tell you you may be motor T, or are you just looking for jobs? Look no further. I served 7.5 years in the Marine Corps, and motor T was my primary job. I'm going to give you guys kind of a little rundown on what you could expect as a motor T operator and the opportunities that are available to you. So stick around, and I think you're going to enjoy it. Alright, so first things first, let's get informalities out of the way. Get motor T and motor transportation out of your freaking disgusting mouth. In motor T, you're no longer motor T, you are motor T. Alright? Whether you like it or not, it's motor T. Alright, anyways, so let's talk about schoolhouse training. You just got out of boot camp, you just got done with MCT. You are a Marine, right? You hold the title of a Marine, but don't be surprised or discouraged if you get treated like scum. Okay, because you kind of are. You're still a boot, okay? So don't get butthurt, okay? It's all part of the process. Once you hit your unit, you can establish yourself. And then, again, back to square one, you gotta freaking, you're still a boot, okay? So it's all part of the process, man. Just keep your head up. Keep the damn dice rolling, okay? So the schoolhouse, it doesn't take long. It's honestly one of like the shorter schoolhouses. It's not super long, like 6 months. It's more like 2 months, and it all just kind of depends on how long motor T is backed up. There's been times where people do get placed in like holding platoon, and it does take Marines a little longer to like even start school just because of stuff going on, right? So depending on how stuff is going on down at Fort Leonard Wood, because that's where the schoolhouse is in Missouri, you could graduate fast and hit your unit, or it could take you an extended amount of time. Fort Leonard Wood, it's not too bad depending on the time of the year. I honestly hate Missouri. I went when it was kind of cold, so there's not really much to do. And also with Liberty over there, like you could still get in trouble, okay? So like, and so many people get in trouble and kicked out, and they don't even get to hit their unit yet, and they just went through other still basic trainings, and then they get kicked out. Like, keep your nose clean. Don't get in trouble. You're almost at your unit. Just do your damn training and get to your freaking unit, and that's it, okay? Bada bing, bada boom, right? When it comes down to the training, the tests aren't too bad. You're always gonna have time to study, and to be honest with you, they do jam-pack a lot of the information. I would just study as much as you can with not just yourself, but your roommate and all that kind of stuff. So the ball is in your court. You're a grown-up. Study on your off time, and you're gonna be just fine. When it comes to practical application, you're gonna have like some road miles to do. So you're gonna be driving your vehicles down the road, and just be safe. Listen to your instructors and try to make it to the top of your class, right? Because when you do, you get awards. Same thing like boot camp. The other thing I want to address too is like motor T. It's not something you have to be like too savvy about beforehand. Like that's what the schoolhouse is for, and it kind of is with every other MOS too. Like you take a NASVAB score. A lot of people join straight out of high school. People don't really expect for you to be proficient in something. That's why these schoolhouses exist. You know what I mean? So like, even if you're not mechanically inclined to like turn a wrench or drive a truck, or you're a little scared, like don't worry about it, because during the schoolhouse, you're gonna get to practice, you're gonna study, you're gonna talk to your instructors, pick their brains. So like, do not be worried about that. Just be more worried about actually learning your job. Yes, you're kind of scared because you're trying to pass and you don't want to fail, right? But be more focused on like actually learning your job. And these instructors, like, they are so proficient in their jobs. Like, they know stuff that is not covered in the TM. The TM is the technical manual. And like, with every truck, there's a TM. There's a manual on like how this works, where this component is, blah, 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 bada bing, bada boom, okay? And usually the instructors know some shit that is not in the TM. And they're fucking there for a reason, you know what I mean? So like, pick their brain. They know a lot of the stuff that isn't in necessarily black and white. All right. Let's get done with the schoolhouse, right? Schoolhouse, it doesn't take long. So schoolhouse, it takes about like 2 months, right? After that, boom, you go to your unit in the fleet, okay? So now you're in the fleet, okay? Let's talk about opportunities. So you want to try to be as safe as you can on the road once you hit your unit. And this is for many reasons, right? Like obviously you're driving a big tactical truck, especially if you go to Okinawa. Man, there's so many stories from Motor T of them like killing civilians or running over a homeless person. Like it's a freaking killing machine, right? You're like, and a lot of the times like you can't even see what's behind you just because of like the way the truck is. It's so big, right? That's why you have a ground guide. You have someone get off of the truck and tell you like back up this way, blah blah, right? So you have to be very careful. Not only that, when it comes time to like, you know, getting awards, you usually need like a certain amount of miles of accident-free shit, right? And not that awards is like the end all be all kind of thing, but it does help you in terms of promotion as well. And who wants to be the lowest rank forever? No one, right? You should always try to get to the next rank, okay? The next thing is courses. With Motor T, you are allotted so many opportunities as well. Like you get to be attached to grunt units, you get to do supply runs. Motor T is everywhere. Chow hall runs, like Motor T is literally everywhere. Like Motor T is like what keeps shit moving. I'm not saying any other MOSs don't matter, right? That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is Motor T is used a lot for like everything. You're always gonna see Motor T, and Motor T is always gonna be around. Hey, what's going on, Wealth Warriors? If you find this video of any value, please do me a favor and like and subscribe. Share this video to your friends and family. And if not, don't do it, all right? Let me earn it, but continue watching. I think you're gonna get some valuable information. Other than that, back to our scheduled programming. Thank you for your support. So now let's talk opportunities. Opportunities within Motor T, when you're like E5, E6 and below, something like that, you get to go to these two courses known as, well, not everyone gets afforded these opportunities, right? This is why it's important to be accident free. You have to be fucking good to go. You got to listen to your NCOs, shit like that, all right? So one of the best things that you can do as Motor T is go to VRC, right there, boom. So what is VRC? VRC is Vehicle Recovery Course. The Vehicle Recovery Course is, again, you get sent back to Fort Leonard, Missouri. Depending on the year, it sucks, right? But it's so freaking fun. Okay, so VRC, you're known as short a wrecker. Okay, you're a wrecker. So Vehicle Recovery Course, it's so fun. It's honestly like the best thing in Motor T that you could possibly do. You could also go to Schrock, which we'll talk about that. You become a refueler. So this is what's known as a BMOS, an additional MOS. So you have one MOS, which is Motor T, right? And then you can have a secondary MOS, which is VRC. Or you can have a third MOS, which is Schrock, which is the other one we talked about. You can add all these other MOSs. You can get sent to all these other schools, and you just have like this portfolio of like different jobs that you can get, right? So, but VRC and Schrock, which we'll talk about next, those are two MOSs that you can go to that are within Motor T. So back to being a wrecker. The schoolhouse is so fun. Like, I think the first day you actually start like, it's called oxygen acetylene. Like you're like cutting shit with a torch. And my buddy and I, we got sent together, which is so dope. But we made like little swords, and it's just so cool. I'll throw some B-roll up here too while I'm talking so you can kind of see. You get to use the winches, you get to use the cranes, you get to flip trucks over, you even get to like learn how to use snatch blocks. And snatch blocks is kind of like, it makes flipping and pulling stuff a little easier. There's a lot that goes into it, like equations and stuff like that. But it's super fun. It's super fun. It's super hands-on. The instructors are like, again, really cool. They get sent there for a reason because they're super proficient in their job. But being a wrecker, when you actually go back to the fleet, it makes things just so much more fun. You know, and to be honest with you, being a wrecker, you get to kind of skate a little more. So this just kind of depends on your unit. For me, I got sent to wrecker school, right? And then when I got to my unit again, I got sent to the tool room. So I kind of wore like two hats. I was a wrecker and I was there, you know, like working in the tool room, helping the mechanics and stuff. And then there's other units where you get to be attached to a wrecker platoon. And wrecker platoons is like where it's at, because you just maintain your wrecker and you guys are more of like a small little platoon, depending how much people there are. You're not really attached to like a whole big platoon where you have a bunch of other Marines and you're playing games and stuff like that, which sucks, okay? Like, again, it all just kind of depends on your unit. So being a wrecker, I'll throw some more footage in here, but like I've had so many cool stories. In Okinawa, I had to recover a howitzer, which is like a real big like artillery like piece of equipment, and it got like, I think it like fell off of a trailer or something, and I had to pick it up and put it on top of a trailer. It was like such a long day, because Okinawa is like, it takes so long to get from one part of the island to the other, and the island is not even that big. But that night was super long, and then I've had a few other ones where I had to, when I was stationed in Camp Pendleton, where I had to like get some vehicles that were stuck in mud. There was another one where there was like I think it was a howitzer that got dropped from like some sort of like plane, or I forget what they call it, but anyways, like it's supposed to land safely with the parachute, but the parachute didn't work, and it like pretty much just blew up, and it lit like a big fire, and then I had to go recover it like months later down the road when, you know, it was deemed safe. That was pretty fun. Super hot again, but like, anyways, there's like there's a lot more cool opportunities that you get to do. Although there's this thing that you get put on called record duty. So like, if something happens, let's say there's like a 96 coming up, they'll look at the wreckers who are in like the base, and they'll be like, okay, you're gonna be on record duty in case something happens. We're gonna call you, so you can't really like leave base and go somewhere far out. You know what I mean? But anyways, like being a wrecker is so much freaking fun. Okay, so now let's talk about SROC. SROC. So SROC stands for Semi-Trailer Refueler Operator Course. It's a mouthful. And to be honest with you, I have no idea what the hell goes into it. I know it's like those big trucks that like they deal with like fuel and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, man, to be honest with you, like it just didn't seem as fun, you know, like SROC people don't really like, it doesn't seem like they do much. And if you're like a SROC operator, like comment in here and let the other people in here, let them know what you kind of did, because I don't really know anything about SROC. I was a wrecker. But yeah, going to SROC is another thing that you could go to. Again, it's back at Fort Leonard Wood as well. So you get these two opportunities afforded to you if you are Motor T. Okay, so now let's also talk about job transferability. So this is like another, like, you don't have to do it, but it's good to have, okay? So there's this certain thing that you can do where you are able to track your road miles, and it's pretty much easier for you to get your CDL when you do get out and become a civilian, because you had all this experience as a motor transportation operator. You're able to translate that out into the civilian world, and it makes things just so much more easier for you. You'll probably negotiate even a higher pay, and this just all kind of depends. You know, even if you don't want to do it, it's something good to always have in the back of your pocket. All right, so that about covers it for Motor T. The last thing I'll leave you guys here with is, if you're only choosing Motor T because of your ASVAB score, I would encourage you to retake your ASVAB score until you got a score that you were, you know, that you were happy with, and that you got to pick a job that you were a little more like inclined to actually want to do. Because for me personally, Motor T wasn't really what I wanted to do. My recruiter kind of talked me up with it, and there was a small bonus, which was like chump change after tax, you know. So, but going to VRC and becoming a wrecker was like the best thing about Motor T, and it made it so much more enjoyable for me. But again, like, don't just do something because, like, try to control these variables before you actually take this step, because once you get there, there's not really much you can do, you know. Like, when you pick an MOS with it, you're kind of stuck unless you choose to lateral move into a different job, which again, you would have to go to another school, and just a lot of back and forth, and it's, at that point, it's usually not certain, right? There's some wait time and stuff like that. So I hope this video answers some questions for you guys, and if you have any other questions, please drop them down in the comments, and I'll be super happy to answer it for you guys. Stay blessed and simplify.